What's up, everybody? This is your boy, back at it again, bringing you a little mobility, recovery foam rolling session. If you do not have a foam roller, gonna kind of be out of luck for this one. It's a great tool to add to your arsenal. We have the black foam rollers over the GT Studio. We got the black and red ones here at the 5 points. All that really determines is the density, so how hard it's gonna be, basically how painful it's gonna be, more in better terms. So I'm gonna take you through just real quick, top to bottom, from down by the calves all the way up to upper middle back. Real 20-minute way to kind of get through your body, take care of it, kind of check in, a lot like what we do with a warm-up. We use these for the cool down, but it can absolutely be done in preparation or just on your off day as well. So again, if you don't have a foam roller, no big deal. You can order one of these on Amazon. They tend to run about 20, 25 bucks. Again, if you're looking for a recommendation or need some more information, just shoot us a quick message. I'll let you know what you should grab, if it's a good deal, something like that. Other than that, guys, we're gonna come down to the floor to start with. We're gonna put the foam roller down long ways here, and we're gonna sit down on our butt. We're just gonna put one leg out on it to start with, just starting down towards the base of the Achilles tendon that's just down towards the foot. And we're gonna just do some simple, nice and easy windshield wipers here. Just taking it back and forth across your body, working that toe from side to side. Just trying to get everything nice and loose here. If that's not the most sensitive point, no big deal. We're gonna continue to kind of just check in. I'd recommend checking about 3 or 4 spots. So once you do some windshield wipers, slide it down just a little bit further, getting a little bit more of that meat of that calf down there at the base. Again, back and forth. A lot of time foam rolling, since it's got the term rolling in the title, we roll up and down, and that is a useful tool. But to cross fiber on the muscle we're trying to attack potentially works a little bit better to kind of get into those knots and kind of identify where we're at. So again, just windshield wiper and just kind of priming that muscle, figuring it out, then moving it up a little bit more. Again, picking about 3 to 4 spots, anywhere from the base of that Achilles tendon, the heel of your foot, all the way up to the back of your knee. Again, you're gonna see where it's a little bit more sensitive. You need a little bit more time in there. But again, we're just kind of working back and forth here. Starting on the right leg, picking that 3 to 4 spots. Never wanna roll right in the back of your knee. Those are gonna be more ligaments and tendons, and we're trying to stay deeper in that muscle belly. So again, just kind of moving things around. We'll simply do this on the right leg, and then we'll simply do it on the left leg. Again, kind of just finding that spot. Just kind of making mental notes as far as where that soreness and tightness is. Once you're done with the right leg, or if you started with the left, let's just switch it over again. So again, we're starting down at the base. Again, you'll notice down here, not super sensitive because there is not a lot of muscle down here in the Achilles, but we are trying to get right at that insertion point where the calf and the Achilles tendon kind of working together in there. Again, not as much down here, just windshield wiper and back and forth. Rolling it up again. Find a spot, you'll start to feel a little bit more intensity here. You'll probably be able to tell in my face just because it is painful, and as I'm going through these movements, I'm feeling the same thing you're gonna be feeling at home. Okay, back and forth. Again, no certain amount of windshield wipers you need to do as far as turning that toe back and forth. Just kind of playful movements, gentle, working around here, figuring out where you're gonna need most of this attention when we get back to this. Back and forth here. And then maybe pick 1 or 2 more spots, again, going up towards the back of that knee. Just rolling across that muscle body. You're gonna feel some clunk, 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 clunk. I often refer to it as like a speed bump, okay? That's gonna be those knots, those tightness areas in there. When you can feel it really clunk over and then clunk over, those are gonna be the spots we identify when we go back. Right now, we're just simply kind of warming up everything from the knee and below on both sides. When we go back to that first side we started with, now what we're gonna work for is we're gonna find one of those spots. So again, as you first get on there, you're gonna isolate that spot. You're gonna find the angle. So mine is about this 45-degree angle where my toe is out. I'm gonna apply a little bit more pressure by putting that top leg on top. Okay, all I'm using is that top leg for weight to press down. And now I'm gonna lengthen by pushing my toe down and then pulling to me. So this is gas, like you're pushing the gas in your car, pushing your toe down, and then you're pulling your toe back up, deflection. pressing the gas, and then pulling it back up. Again, you can see my face. It's actually hurting. That's why I'm making that face. I'm not doing that for exaggeration purposes. It does hurt in there, okay? But again, pressing the gas. If you can see my toe on my bottom leg, then pulling it back up. I want to do that anywhere from 5 to 10 times. I'll take that pressure off. Again, feel that next spot out. Again, mine's at that 45-degree angle. Place my leg back on top to get that weight anchored down, and then I'm pressing the gas again, pulling my toe back up, pressing the gas, toe back up, breathing through it here. Very painful in these calves. You won't even realize your calves are sore until you're in this, but that's okay. So again, gas pedal, pulling that toe to shin 5 to 10 times. Take that top leg off. If putting that top leg on is just too much and it intensifies it too much, you can certainly do it without that top leg. But again, that leg is going to be utilized to add a little bit more weight, a little bit more pressure. Again, as you go through this, toe, then pull that toe back, push that toe down, pulling it back and forth. Again, you could spend as much time on each calf as you really want. You know, don't sit here and spend 2 hours just on your right calf. You're not going to break up all the adhesions at once. Okay, the adhesions are going to break up over time. So you just want to get in there and work these adhesions loose. Daily foam rolling is encouraged, not mandatory. At least 3 times a week is a good practice. Getting in there, the more you do it, the faster it's going to break up. Again, just like setting a routine. So when you're done on that right leg, we'll do the same thing on that left. Again, starting down lower, roll it back and forth to find that hot spot. When you do, place that top leg back over, and then out, and then in with that toe on that bottom leg. Again, my left leg is not as bad as my right, and that's going to be the case for you depending on what's more dominant in different spots of your body, just based on how your body functions in there, and if it's more calf dominant on the right side or left side, or if you've had a pre-existing injury, something like that. Again, taking that off, moving it up a little bit, rolling across. Again, it might be at the outside 45, might be at the inside 45. You could do both, lay that leg across. But again, that lengthening and shortening of the muscle by pulling your toe to contraction towards your shin, also known as dorsiflexion, and then plantar flexion by pushing your toe down, back and forth. Again, just fancy words. Don't really need to know those words. You just got to pump that toe, drive it down and out, then pull it up and in. You'll feel it. Then back in towards the top there. Again, work it across, find that area, whether it's out 45, in 45, place that leg on, and then pump that toe of that bottom leg. Again, this is pretty painful for myself. So I'm working on talking to you guys, at the same time working on trying to breathe and stay present in this, kind of loosen up these calves. Really good job, guys. Just continue to push through. Again, spend as much time as you want, equal time on the right side and left side. Just back and forth there, getting right in. And then we will go ahead and give those calves a break. So as we go ahead and give those calves a break, we're going to go ahead and take that foam roller and work into a little bit different position here. I'm trying to just avoid the basic movements that we always do. I'm going to try to get in and show you some different movements. That way you can add to your variation and collection of your foam roller arsenal here. So we're going to get in and go right down on top of these quads. So I'm going to turn the foam roller lengthwise, basically get into a plank position. Here, down on my forearms. Again, it's at the base of my knees, and you can see I'm doing the same thing I did with my calves. I'm going back and forth. I'm priming it by going across the body here. Okay, I'm rolling from the outside of the leg to the inside of that leg, back and forth. I'm doing both my legs here. If you choose to just do one at a time, you can do that. Okay, but again, then we'll roll it up, and we'll do the same thing, rolling across my body here, getting into the outside. Okay, getting out into that IT band, which we often roll back and forth. Again, just cross-bodying on that foam roller, taking those to the outside. And then we'll move it up a little bit further there. Okay, again, just playful discovery here, back and forth. You're not really going to get to the inner part of that thigh and leg. Don't worry, I have something special coming for you next after this. We're more worried about the top part. Okay, the top of that thigh, and then rolling into the outside on each leg. So again, we're going back and forth, very similar movements. Everything is going to look very similar to what we did on the calves and then we'll just kind of adjust it to what body part we're on, okay? So as we start to do that, several different spots there. Then we're actively gonna go back and find one of those spots just now on one leg. Okay, so we're gonna find that spot. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna pump my leg up and down, okay? So again, it might be straight on the top, it might be on that angle just a little bit, but either way, as I was lengthening and shortening my calf, now I'm gonna lengthen and shorten my quad by doing flexion and extension of my leg, basically bring my hip up to my butt. I'll do that 5 to 10 times in one spot. Whew, pretty hot there. Find a new spot. Do that same thing there. Again, nice and easy, 5 to 10. On that right side, here, again, whether it's a 45-degree angle or whatever it is, you find it, bring it up close in there to that hip flexor. We're basically just breaking up each component of the leg, the lower limb, and then this upper limb above the knee. Again, working with some butt kicks, shortening and lengthening here. Again, back and forth. Pretty painful in here on these quads, especially based on all the squats we've just been doing all week already. But again, the relief that you're gonna get from this is gonna be invaluable. Once you're done there, give yourself a little break just because you've been holding that plank position as it is. And then we'll go on to the other leg. I'm gonna turn around just so you can see me a little bit better. I'm now gonna focus on that left leg. So again, I'm gonna go back towards the top of that knee. Again, I don't wanna be right on that knee, I wanna be right on the top of it. Okay, you can see my other leg just kind of out of the way here. I'm only isolating my left leg. Again, working that butt kicker action. 5 to 10 here. Up and down, shortening and lengthening out that quad. Okay, then I'm gonna come up a little bit, maybe out of that 45, maybe I'm still square to the floor. Again, just a new spot. Hitting that pumping action in and out. Make sure you're breathing through it. Pretty painful in here, again, in those quads. Okay, isolating just the left leg here, just the left leg. Okay, so I can really focus and breathe there. And I'll find one more spot to the top, almost that hip flexor. Again, get in there. If I need to feel around for it by working side to side, that's great. You'll feel for it. And then you'll work into those pumps. Again, shortening and lengthening, back and forth. Whew, this one's hot. Back and forth here. Again, I'll say it over and over. You could spend hours and hours on each quad and each knot. But again, just get in there, break up the top of it, and then each time you get into it, it'll be less sensitive when you start to break it up. So we just hit the quads right there, basically focusing on top here from hip flexor down in the outer portion, also known as the IT band, so top and outside of both. But now we're going to get into the inner thigh, okay? A lot of times this is what causes the tracking issue of the knee going in and out. If this is overly tight and you're squatting and your knees are coming together, a lot of times if we can loosen up in here, it'll allow our knees to stay out. Imagine our muscles are playing with our joint like a tug of war, okay? So if the outside is tight here and the inside is loose, it's going to pull it outside. Or if the outside is loose and the inside is tight, it's going to pull it in. We want them both to be loose, that way they work back and forth together. Stabilize that knee and they're both very healthy. So now as we're starting to get into a little bit more of the inner thigh, same kind of deal. Best way to do this is again to keep this foam roller here, but now you're going to lengthen it just in line with your body. You're going to kind of open up that hip and get it deep in there. So you're basically just getting fresh with the foam roller, you know, you're just getting right up on it. And again, we're just kind of finding a spot inside and outside, kind of forward and back, kind of applying the same concepts that we've just been doing, a little bit of discovery here, finding where we have that tightness. I can just tell you it's going to get worse as we get towards the outside of your knee, so just get comfortable with it in here. But what you want is that leg, that knee out at 90 degrees, so the foam roller is here, and then I'm perpendicular to the foam roller with my knee, so I'm making 90 degrees. If I want to lay all the way down on it, it's a great hip opener and stretch. And then I'm going to take active leg, just like I did before. Getting that leg straight, and then bringing that heel in towards my butt. Again, I'm already feeling it pretty tight in here. 5 to 10 of these pumps. This is going to get progressively worse as I move the foam roller towards my outside of my knee. Okay, but I'm back and forth here, pumping it. And I kind of give myself some space. Get out to that middle territory again, kind of find that hot spot once I'm on it. Hold it. And then again, start to lengthen and shorten with that contraction and extension. Back and forth. Notice my knee is still out, okay? A lot of times as we start to move around the foam roller, we start to lose our positioning. So always set yourself up, just like you're setting yourself up to lift a weight. It's the same thing. How you prep the movement and how you set it up will determine the effectiveness of it. Okay, in and out there. And we'll move the foam roller out again. Woo, just setting it there is already pretty warm. Okay, we're gonna go in and out. Ooh, back and forth there. Again, trying to get that leg all the way out. Just grit your teeth, let it out, whatever that is. Okay, back and forth there. Third spot here, 5 to 10 kicks, and then we'll take it out. I don't even need to move my leg right now on this last one. This is pretty intense, just holding it here. So I'm literally just gonna let it sit there and let my muscle kind of melt around this foam roller. The pressure here is enough. I don't even think I could probably lengthen and shorten this right now based on my soreness and just the tightness of where I'm at. If you have it in you, feel free to go ahead and do that. But again, just breathing through for anywhere from 30 seconds to 90 seconds is gonna be very effective, even just sitting it out here, starting to let that muscle melt around and start to kind of dissipate and break up that adhesion there, or that tightness that's in there, guys. So when you're done, come off there. Obviously, if we did the right side, we're gonna need to do that left side. So again, setup is key and crucial here. So now I'm just switching sides. Again, you can see my knee is out to a 90-degree angle from the foam roller. I'm just kind of getting in here. At first, I'm kind of figuring out where I maybe have those hot spots, forward and back a little bit. Again, just there is no right or wrong when you're on the foam roller. Okay, you're just simply working it around. Once you find a spot again, leg is out at 90. You're down in that plank position, and you're just gonna start to work that leg in and out. Again, 5 to 10 pumps. 3 to 4 stops would be sufficient. In and out, back and forth. Take that next spot. Again, in and out. It's gonna get a little bit worse each time as we get out towards that knee. My left leg is not nearly as bad as my right leg. My right leg is a little tighter than my left. Having a little bit better luck out here, and that's gonna be pretty much the case with you as well at home. Okay, just kind of make those mental notations, figuring out what's worse, what's better for you. I'll take it out again. And that third spot for me, still able to move it here on that third spot, much like I was able to move it on that right leg, back and forth, in and out. And then I'm gonna take that last spot again. This is pretty tough, even though it's on my better leg. So I'm gonna breathe for about 30 seconds, up to 90 seconds. Again, just letting it melt in there. You'll feel the pressure. It's much like pushing on a bruise, okay? It's almost gonna cut your breath off and make you feel a little bit sick to your stomach. Again, that's not a bad thing if you could muster through it and just have that mental fortitude and toughness in there. The benefits are gonna far outweigh the 30 to 90 seconds of uncomfortability here. Again, just trying to hold that, letting it breathe, let your body melt onto there. And then when you're done, you can lift up out of there. That's great. Guys, we're gonna attack one more spot on the lower half, and then we'll call it a day for that. A lot of this is pretty intense. It makes you sweat even more than if you're working out. And then the next time we get back together, we'll go a little bit more over the upper body, the shoulders, the lats, triceps, stuff like that. I'm gonna keep it to lower limb right now. So last spot is gonna be these hip flexors, okay? Everything we do involves some kind of flexion, driving that knee up, whether it's a step up, a kneel down, everything is focused in here. So it's the same concept. We're gonna start on this right side. So basically right on that crease, whether you wanna use the edge of it or wanna be right in the middle, it's up to you, but you're gonna lay it down right here. And then again, it's that cross body roll. Okay, it's a smaller section of the lower part of our body here, okay? The calf and the thigh are much longer. The hip flexor is not as big, so there's not gonna be as much room to go up and down, okay, to adjust. That way we're just gonna go across, back and forth, a little, like I said, cross flossing this hip flexor here, going across here, right up to that hip bone. You'll feel that pointer. We don't want to be on top of that bone. We want to be below that to the insertion point of that quad. Okay, so again, we find that area on the right side, and then we flip it over. We do that same thing. We find the top of that hip pointer, that bone. Okay, we start just below it. Again, you can see my hips are going from the outside down to belly button square, working back and forth. Again, not as bad there. Move it up maybe 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch. Work it here. a little bit deeper. Again, my right side is always a little bit more tough than my left, so it's not as bad for me here. Then I find one more spot to kind of crossbody here. Back and forth. Getting it kind of primed and loose with that cross tension here. And then I'm gonna go back on my right side. So again, not a lot of movement I can get out of my hip flexor here, except for contraction and then extension, okay, much like I was doing with my calf and then my leg kicks and my leg pumps. So now I'm gonna go back to that right side. I'm gonna find that hot spot, and then I'm gonna go all the way down. Basically, I'm gonna melt over that foam roller all the way down. I'm lengthening out my muscle, and then I'm coming up in that cobra, and I'm stretching it out. I'm going back down again. Again, this is supplementing those kicks or those toe points that I was doing. I'm going back down around the foam roller, then I'm coming back up. I'm lengthening it back out. Okay, again, find that next spot. Maybe a little bit of 45, but again, you're down, you're lengthening around, then you're coming back up and extending it, lengthening, and back and forth here. Just using my arms to kind of come up and down, a little pressure relief, much like I was doing with my kicks and my toe points earlier on the other side. Get that done on the right side. Then we'll move over. Same thing on the left side. Find that spot. Once you do, let yourself all the way down. Then bring yourself up to intensify it. Let yourself down to kind of fold and mold around it. Then up to intensify it. Let's go down again. Again, I'm just shortening this up for the video. But again, you want to do about 5 to 10 of these lifts on each side. When you're done with 5 or 10, move it up that 1/4 of an inch. Find that next spot. Get there again. Then you're back down, face to the floor. Then up off the floor. Then again, back down, mold it around. Intensify that pressure. And then back down. Again, 5 to 10 of these. Again, the hip flexor is not huge in there, so we're just targeting maybe 3 different areas. Again, it can be outside, it can be inside. Again, whatever's lighting it up for you. But again, those are your spots. Those are your 3 areas that I want you to focus on the most. Okay, your calves, quads on the outside, quads on the inside, and then hip flexors. Again, if you have any questions, need recommendations on a foam roller, any of that stuff didn't make sense, let us know. Next one I post will be more upper body dominant. Wanted to get that lower half started to loosen up on you. Again, guys, thanks for tuning in today. It's your boy, Ewall, working that mobility on that lower half. Catch you soon next time with that upper half. See you guys.